In this episode of Travelogue, I journey far up north to the snowy grasslands of Inner Mongolia, where I discover a winter wonderland.
It's freezing. Oh, it's so cold. We're finally here in Ulaanbaatar, and this is the coldest I've ever been. It's also about as far north, almost as far north as you can get in China, and the view is just amazing. Just blankets of snow as far as the eye can see. But as phenomenal as it is being in this winter wonderland, it's also going to be a challenge for our crew. We'll be shooting outdoors in frigid temperatures, so wish us luck, and let's experience what a real winter is like. I'm Megan, welcome to Travelogue.
Here in China's far north, the winter lasts for months on end. It's hard to imagine cold this extreme if you've never experienced it. The winds feel like knives cutting your face, your feet hurt from the chill of the ground, and your mouth throbs with every word you utter.
I just came back in from outside. There's snow as far as the eye can see. It's 20, 21 degrees below freezing, but inside it's nice and toasty, and the feeling is starting to return to my feet. But there's this palpable energy inside. The room is filled with athletes and spectators, and they're all here for the very first Winter Heroes Festival. And there's going to be skiing and figure skating competitions and shows, and I'm really excited to check it out.
As professional as they look with their gear, these participants are actually mostly amateurs.
我们海拉尔的本地的。
哦，本地的。
本地的。
哦，那你们今天是比什么？是技术还是速度？
是速度。
年人都60好几了都。
小的时候我们是自己做这雪板，木头的，完爬的也是，完滑。现在这多好，这个现役。
今天刚学的。
哦，刚刚学。哦，你非常厉害。你会担心什么摔跤吗，或者什么的？
不用担心，因为这个摔了也不疼。
是，对。你们都几岁啊？13岁。
乌伦盖尔，我们来了！
It's a surprising crowd for what look like some pretty intense winter sports. Kids, the elderly, novices. Granted, a lot of these folks have spent their whole lives up here in the north, so endurance against the snowy weather is ingrained in their bones.
I grew up in California, so seeing this much snow is always really exciting for me, even though I can't feel my hands.
There's not so much an air of competition here, more a sense of positivity. People are taking part purely for the love of their sport and to challenge themselves in this extreme environment, regardless of age or experience.
我帮你吗？谢谢。没事。感觉怎么样？马上要比赛了。没啥感觉。才滑1年呢。 那你们都已经能比赛了，那学得很快哦。祝你们好运。
我原来是57年全国第1届滑雪运动会20公里冠军。这些年我去滑高山了。高山滑的还可以。
那老爷可以问一下吗？您身体怎么能保持这么健康啊？
我一个是不抽烟不喝酒。不熬夜。 我就是生活有规律的。
东北人还是比较耐寒。
对，你看
我就不行。
你看我穿这么点。
很厉害。
哎，不行，
待会儿还出去滑吗？
我一会儿去他们要去，我就跟他们去滑去。
啊，还是要再坚持下去是吧？
没事我滑一圈还可以。
Soccer being played in the snow. That's something I've never seen before. I'm very impressed that they're not all slipping.
Watching them with their magical anti-slip ability, I can't help wondering how the top FIFA players would fare in these conditions.
这是我第一次看见这个足球是在雪地上打的。
对，
这个是
雪地足球，
哦，那跟在草地上打会有什么区别呢？
那肯定有区别，球比较滑，然后球也动了。
哦，那是更容易得分还是更难呢？你觉得？
这玩意儿我也说不清楚，球容易，球不容易。雪地足球主要就是为了开心。
It's been a frigid first day, and the crew and I are humbled by the power of Mother Nature. I'd rather complacently believed my cold weather gear would protect me from the elements, but day one was a wake-up call. And the next morning, I put on double, triple the layers. Who cares if I feel like a snowman? We're about to watch amateur NASCAR, Inner Mongolia style, and the road surface is not what most drivers are used to. You can't get a car like this at a dealership. Drivers spend months modifying their vehicles, piecing together parts, until they've got a car that's fashioned specifically to clock impressive speeds in the snow.
你也是比赛的吗？
刚比完。
哦，刚比完，怎么样？
还行。
你是哪里过来的？
我是本地的。
怎么开始有这个爱好的呢？
我从小就对车，比较感兴趣，然后现在我自己也玩那个越野车，搞车队，然后赶上有这么个机会领那个车队队员一起玩一玩，参与，感受一下。
哎呦！
油箱必须是防爆，然后水箱挪到后边，就是因为前边怕撞击的时候水箱坏了，然后受影响。
I kind of feel like I'm in the cockpit of a plane. There's so many knobs and panels, and I have no idea what they do. But they've taken out a lot of the stuff in the car, I guess, to make it lighter so that it goes faster in the snow. It'll probably be really cool to drive this thing. 我是南方来的，我没在雪地里开过车。在雪地里开车什么感觉啊？
在雪地里开车，实际上最大的感觉就是很滑，而且就是特别这个应该算自由，特别放松，不像那个场地的那个越野的场地赛扎实路的那种的那么危险，因为比较安全。对。
Mostly because in these vast stretches of flat terrain, there's nothing to crash into. From spikes on the tires to triangular wheels, lots of add-ons help these vehicles adapt to the frosty weather. These are snow bikes, perfect for adrenaline junkies who crave more of an alfresco driving style with the wind in their hair. They're kind of like motorcycles, maybe not nimble enough to dart among cars on the highway, but like race cars, they can chart a pretty swift course through the snow.
骑这个是很难吗？
也不算难。
区别很大吗？跟普通摩托车比？
这个跟 ATV 的差不多，但是就是因为它是履带的嘛，它没有轮子，有可能就是很多重心方面姿势会不一样。
Zhong Shengzhen is the winner of last year's race. She's from Guangxi, a southern province where snow is uncommon. She picked up her riding skills purely from off-roading on dirt and cement roads back home. I'd imagine the different surface would present a challenge, but she says it's an intuitive switch.
感觉有压力呢，因为去年获得第1名，今年肯定还想再获得第1名，是吧？
对，刚刚第1场已经跑了，还是很幸运的。
哦，不错不错。然后下午的一场马上就开始，马上就要上去了，是吧？
对。
哦，心里有什么感觉呢？
就是希望反正我已经没有前面能追踪的人了，我就靠自己的努力把自己超越了。
I've been really impressed with all the athletes we've met today. A lot of them are actually from the south of China, so it doesn't snow as much there, and they just come to the festival a couple days in advance, practice a little bit, and then they're hitting the races.
Here's something you might not want to think about while you're revving your engine through the snow. This looks like your average winter wonderland, made up of delicate snowflakes that have combined and formed a soft, cotton candy-like surface. But underneath, just inches below your feet, is deep, ice-cold water. Yep, the Winter Heroes Festival takes place on a giant frozen lake. One of the professional race car drivers, Zhang Guoyu, was kind enough to take me for a whirl in his car. I try not to think about the water below as I climb into the passenger seat. What do you mean I look scared? I'm not. He's a professional, and if he tells me he's driving much slower than he normally would in a race, I believe him. This is just a breezy spin around the block. I can't help it if my life flashes before my eyes with every onset of inertia during those hairpin turns. Uh-oh, I'm getting dizzy again.
Adrenaline-inducing experience of my life. I think that was like 100 roller coasters. Oh, these drivers are very skilled and very fearless, and I could never do what they do. But that was just a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Enough adrenaline for a while, I think.
Because of how fun that looked, our cameraman couldn't resist going for a ride too. To get footage, he claimed. Yeah, I think he just felt he was missing out. Maybe I should have warned him. Coming up next, the winter celebration of the time-honored Naadam Festival welcomes us with wrestling, camels, and even frostier weather. Here we are at the Naadam Festival, a centuries-old Mongolian tradition that celebrates a combination of arts and sports. Its origin goes back centuries, back to the days when warriors were chosen based on the prowess they demonstrated in wrestling, horse racing, and archery. Naadam was previously just a summer event, but now, for the 16th year, winter is seeing its own snowy version of the celebration. Same sports, very different look.
It's the Naadam Festival. We're finally here. It's even colder today than it was yesterday. I made the mistake of not wearing enough layers yesterday, so I have on extra layers of heat-retaining undergarments on. Our crew is also having a little trouble with the equipment because the batteries keep dying in the cold, so we actually put the heat packs on the batteries as well. So hopefully the equipment will last longer today than it did yesterday.
Ah, heat packs, those warmth-bearing lifesavers, without which we would all surely have frozen into icicles.
So this is the opening ceremony of the Winter Naadam Festival, and tons of people are already gathered here waiting for the festivities to start. It's going to be a few days of archery competitions, wrestling, horse racing. It's going to be a blast.你们这个是哪个少数？哦，很漂亮。离这里多远？
坐客车6个多小时到。
哦，你们专门过来表演的是吗？
对，表演达斡尔姑娘。
你今天什么感受啊？
非常高兴吧，每年都参加的。
冷不冷啊？
大姐里边穿的羽绒服。
啊，那就好，那就好。
It's really cold. We keep coming inside to take breaks in this yurt because there's coal here. It's burning. And our equipment keeps dying. But it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
每年都要参加。
这个纳达慕节为什么在内蒙古这么重要呢？
祖传的嘛。我是这么理解的。
Inherited traditions that have been passed down for generations. Today, Naadam is bigger than ever. But it's a far cry from the festivals of the past. I imagine those must have been solemn trials of physical strength and fortitude. The three sports, wrestling, horse racing, and archery, are why Naadam is often referred to locally as the 3 games of men, although women now participate too. Horse racing exhibits patience and courage, archery demonstrates hand-eye coordination, and wrestling reveals dexterity and flexibility.
So wrestling is one of the main competitions of the Naadam Festival, and there's one taking place right over there, and the match is happening in this kind of makeshift ring that's made up of spectators.
Mongolian wrestling dates back thousands of years, and the rules are a little different from the matches you might see on TV. In Inner Mongolia, if a body part other than the feet touches the ground, that player loses, and it's game over. With no weight or age restrictions, it's pretty common to see a tween wrestling a grown man at the Naadam Festival. There are also no time limits, so a bout continues until someone loses. There were moments when 2 wrestlers in the grips of a contest were so still I thought they'd frozen together, but it turns out they were just taking their time. I eventually got squeezed out of the circle, and I'm not about to pick a fight with wrestlers. Did you see how big they are? Besides, the cold's starting to give me brain freeze, and I need to make a beeline for the yurt.
Heat packs.
Coming up next, in weather like this, I can't imagine anything worse than jumping into ice-cold water. But there may be more to Arctic swimming than meets the eye.
呼伦贝尔这个海拉尔冬泳呢有啥特点呢？就是说是全国最冷的地方开展冬泳的，有2个特点，一个是冬泳时间最长，因为冬天长嘛，7个月，再一个是冬泳的温度是最低的，我们就是说挑战严寒零下40多度我们也都冬泳。呼伦贝尔这个海拉尔的冬泳呢，已经开展了22年，96年开始，所以说呢，这项运动挺适合于我们这块寒冷地区健身运动。
So we saw him a couple days ago, and he was skiing in frigid temperatures, and today he's going to jump into an ice-cold lake for an Arctic swim.
从那个6月份开始在大河游，当时水温是14度，然后到夏天慢慢一直在游，慢慢跟着河水的温度一直在游，身体也适应那个水温的变化了。
So the oldest man on this bus is 89 this year, and I think he's evidence of the fact that Arctic swims are actually good for your body. 老爷，您今天是什么感觉啊？
今天就风大点儿，你温度低点没事儿，这风大吧就厉害。
那看老爷都89了，身体还这么好，那是不是你觉得这个冬泳是不是对你有很大的帮助？
游20年了，
零下30-40度，在你正常体温37度情况下，到那种需要你坚定的毅力的，没有毅力人是很难做到的。其实作为常人来讲，每个人都可以适应，我们人的适应能力很强的，但是最关键的那层纸就是人的意志力。
So it's a test for your physical toughness as well as your mental toughness. 好，谢谢先生，加油。
OK。
撵着呢，走啊。
I can't believe it's actually warmer inside in the water than it is out here. It makes me want to go in too. Except not really. God, I so admire these people. I am already frozen to the bone, and they're swimming in these sub-zero Arctic temperatures. Whew.
The temperature of the water is at least above zero. So even though diving in might not feel quite like climbing into a hot tub, it's still more bearable than being on land, mostly unclad. While I can't imagine taking off my warm coat and plunging in, the swimmers tell me it's as simple as making the decision to get in the water, and then having the mental grit to swim all the way across. It blows my mind that climbing out of the water is actually tougher than hopping in. You have to put some clothes on right away, or go inside.
Great.
我是没事，谢谢，尽量好，谢谢。
Ooh, those belly flops look painful. But who am I to judge? They're still braver than I am. It's a strange realization, isn't it? That underneath these endless stretches of ice and snow is a deep lake of water. The pool is carved out just before the swim, lest it freeze over again. It's a reminder that summer and winter are like two different worlds in Inner Mongolia. The region's famous grasslands may be stunning, but I find that winter brings people together in a way that only a shared challenge can.
Hi! The swimmers are emerging from the Arctic swim. They're alive, they're unscathed, they all look really happy actually. 阿姨，怎么样啊？感觉？
很爽。今天虽然外面天气不好，有风什么的，但是那个什么跳下去以后，感觉水温还是可以的。然后在水里游一下， 特别爽。
感觉如何？
反正是非常爽，就像刚才他所说的那样，外边温度虽然很低，但水温还是不错的。你这样游一趟以后上来以后，你感觉这个体表就温度下来以后，就感觉不大寒了，特别身清气爽。
看大家都挺开心的。
非常非常开心，对，它这个是有医学根据的，它会分泌内啡肽，让你保持脏器保持一种兴奋状态，所以人游完冬泳之后，这种快感特别让人留恋。
Everyone's in really great spirits. That's the power of the Arctic swim. So our crew has been shooting every day in Arctic temperatures, 20, 30 degrees below zero, and I just want to show you this. These have been lifesavers. They're called Kairo, or heat packs from Japan, and they're filled with carbon, water, salt, iron filings, and when you peel off the tape, it releases heat in a chemical reaction, and they're really lightweight, so you can stick them against your clothing, and it keeps you warm throughout the day. And I have them against my lower back, on my ankles, on my wrists, and we all have quite a few of them on our bodies so that we can stay warm while we're shooting here. We're gonna throw the boiling water into the air and watch it turn into ice. Oh my god, that was so cool!
Okay, I don't have the best technique. But hey, it was pretty cool seeing a substance switch between states of matter before my eyes. That's the magic of winter. It creates the perfect environment for some pretty cool things. Like this ice hotel, which transports guests into a whimsical world of winter. Apparently, most guests don't stay the whole night. It's one of those things that's fun while it lasts, until you're on the brink of frostbite. Luckily, reservations here include a room at the hotel next door that does have heating.
It's amazing here. So many hallways and rooms. It's Santa Claus! Hi, Santa Claus! Oh, 谢谢，圣诞快乐! This hotel was built from 8,000 tons of ice and snow. And it's absolutely gorgeous inside, but I think it would be kind of challenging to actually spend the night here since it is still quite cold. And I won't have the opportunity this time to stay in the hotel, but I can. I'm really proud of us. We made it to the end of our shoot. We got to interact with people from all over the country, conquering the cold to take part in the winter festivities. And I think there's something about these frigid temperatures that really brings out the warmest and the most generous side of people. So it was just a really cold but very unforgettable experience. I'm Megan. See you next time on Travelogue.